Good day, everyone, and welcome to today's Mobile Ecosystem Forum session, Fraud, Spam, and Deliverability, the Hidden Risk in Messaging. A bit of a background. My name is Matt Ikram. I'm the advisor for MEF, and I'll be moderating this session or this fireside chat with Uroš Mijatović, COO of Mitto. So a bit of a background. As enterprise messaging volume surge, so do the hidden risk, from artificially inflated traffic (AIT) and bot farms to number reputation issues and carrier filtering. These invisible threats silently drain budgets, compromise deliverability, and erode customer trust. Today we'll have Uroš, COO of Mitto, will shed some light on the evolving landscape of this fraud, spam, and message integrity. He'll share how enterprises, MNOs, and CPaaS providers can collaborate to create a trusted partnership that protect performance, revenue, and customer experience across digital messaging ecosystems. Hopefully, at the end of this session, you will gain some insight into, how do you identify and mitigate AIT and traffic inflation? How do you manage number reputation and deliverability challenges? How do we build trust and transparency between enterprise and the carriers? And how do we ensure compliance while maintaining message quality and ROI? So Uroš, maybe to kick off, do you want to say a bit about yourself, your organization? Yep. Before we kick off the fireside chat.
Sure. Thank you for having me again. It's been a year since the first time we actually did the session, and we did quite a few panels in the meantime. So I'm really happy to join and to share what's new when it comes to this type of the fraud in the industry in general. I'm a chief of operations here at Mitto. Mitto is a tier 1 CPaaS provider. We are in the industry for almost 15 years, specialized in cost-efficient and high-quality routing, direct connectivity, delivery logistics, proprietary platform, and overall the good relationship we are having with enterprise customers, which we are further expanding. So yeah, thank you again for inviting me here to talk further, and welcome everyone who joined to listen in.
Yep, and thank you again for everyone for joining in, and please feel free to put your questions in our Q&A, and we'll try to address that as soon as we can. But I think, Uroš, just to reflect on the landscape of especially AIT, looking back a year ago, we have this session, you anticipated further growth of AIT and other forms of messaging fraud. Unfortunately, not less. How accurate was that prediction, and what are the key shifts have you seen in the fraud and spam landscape since then?
I think that's a great way to start. I think it's almost exactly 1 year since we've brought up the topic, and I did, in fact, say that I expect further growth before it gets down. Unfortunately, I was right. It turned out to be true. The scale, the sophistication, and the distribution of AIT have all basically accelerated, especially in Q4 last year. End of the year was like really high intensity what we were detecting, and it's pretty obvious it's no longer a localized or operator specific problem. It's global. It's becoming increasingly automated and even more hard to distinguish from the legitimate traffic. It's also very evident that's evolving in nature. A year ago, it was mostly, or before that even, it was mostly about brute attacks, hit and run, inflating volume very aggressively, and it was more easy to detect, and it was also very concentrated on particular, let's say, even prefix level when it comes to number ranges on the operator level. Now, since then, it got actually, as I said, more sophisticated. It's more randomized, without huge surges, definitely not long-lasting surges for days on the same pattern. and big improvement about blending that fraudulent activity into the real use cases. It comes, let's say, in long volume and continuous manipulation, and it's getting much harder to detect it and to flag it. Fraudsters have learned to simulate also engagement, so it went further beyond just triggering the OTP. Actually, it goes, I believe, to the point of actually creating account and not ending there. With that, you're basically manipulating with conversion ratio, but that seems not to be the end. They also further, I think, emulate user behavior to further trick actual enterprises, actual companies that have this accounts created, which will cover further, also got better at detecting it. So all of this is going in a direction, as I mentioned, it's going to be cat and mouse game, as everyone in the ecosystem is getting better into deploying different tactics, the different mechanisms, how to detect it. The fraudsters are coming, learning and finding the ways how to get better, how to run under the radar. On a positive side, all this pressure, and there was a lot of definitely pressure around this. It's not any longer a denial. It's a very recognizable fact that it's all over the place. And this pressure basically has forced, I think, industry to mature much faster maybe than maybe even expected. The conversations have shifted. I don't see people pretending it doesn't exist any longer. And there's definitely more willingness to share the data, to exchange knowledge, to create standards and frameworks around how to fight it. I think this did push us into an uncomfortable zone, but I think it's also making, it's moving towards the direction to make the ecosystem stronger and more resilient.
Okay, so in a nutshell, the problem, the AIT problem, and other messaging fraud has grown. It's probably more automated, like you said. It's probably more randomized, so very difficult to control and block them. Also, but you're also saying that there is actually some maturity in the market in terms of understanding and addressing the problem. So there's the challenge as well as some positive aspect. Now let's talk about the awareness and the response. I mean, so how would you describe the evolution of awareness and collaboration to tackle this problem across the ecosystem?
So I think what's most visible, what changed, I think it's mindset. It used to be for a long time someone else's problem. With all different types of the fraud, it's easy to shift the blame to someone else. And ultimately, I think what drives motivation, what drives action is who's getting hurt. And that's a difficult part about, it was for a long time difficult part about AT, because it's not actual end users who are suffering, it's not operators, it's not regulators, it's actually traffic originators. And for a long time there was not enough education and awareness about this happening, because it was not of that big magnitude as it becomes. So as they are getting, traffic originators are getting more aware of the level of this, so that pushed also the whole industry to react and to change mindset. So I think today everyone in the chain, enterprise, starting with enterprise, MNOs, aggregators, platform providers, everyone do recognize that although I would dare to say, like, there was a lot of many people benefited in the chain of delivery without willingly participating, without maybe even being aware. At the end of the day, this is causing a big erosion in messaging trust in messaging, trust in SMS in particular, and that's that spiral where things are going. Messaging won't go away, but SMS is getting severely damaged. So everyone who was actually building their brands, building their business around the SMS, should wake up and react and to save what could be saved, because some things, some trains already left the station, I would say, when it comes to alternative channels adoption, expansion, and just willingness from enterprises to further leverage and invest into SMS. So we need to come together, and we need to come up not just with awareness but also response, how we are gonna save, and even I would say grow the SMS again around the world. So enterprises definitely are much more educated than they were before. I had much more meetings in past 12 months with customers than I did ever before, with both existing and also the potential new customers. It's definitely one of the main topics that we are covering. And again, where we are helping our existing customers how to more effectively fight it, and where we're using this as a differentiator to win new business with new companies. Another thing that's I think also evident is that there's more activity from industry bodies. I think definitely NEF is leading the pack when it comes to there. There was a very productive meeting a few weeks ago in Rome. There's a lot of panels. You're helping to bring up this topic to be visible, to drive the action. Vocabulary is definitely getting unified, and so expectations from everyone in the delivery chain. So I think we are moving to a place where it's moving again from reacting to slowly building frameworks that's gonna help address it. And awareness today is definitely far greater to where it was a year ago.
Okay, so let's drill down into this IAIT problem. I mean, you've kind of explained that. Like how do we do some preventive measures before the damage is done? I mean, to your point, the main impact is on the originating traffic, and typically this is the enterprise. For them, it remains one of the biggest pain points. What progress have you seen in early detection and mitigation before it impacts enterprise budgets or damage customer trust? So, could you expand on that?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I believe AT remains the largest, currently looking by volume, the largest type of the fraud currently globally within the SMS messaging. What changed definitely past year is how efficient we are getting at detecting it and how early we can catch it. And with all the education we are doing with enterprises, they are also again getting more aware and accepting some of the proposals to make them more efficient into noticing these things happening. In the past, it was basically once the invoice hits, then you get to realize the magnitude of it. So we were basically looking at like up to even 60 days since this started to happen before someone notices. And again, looking at the magnitude of it, the how wide it is, in period of 60 days, a lot of damage happened. So that's again what was happening before. Now it's much faster. And basically we are getting better as ourselves, as well as we are helping enterprises to get better. At Mitto, for example, like we do combine a lot of things, such as like behavior analytics within machine learning, conversion tracking to flag irregularities, like spikes in traffic that don't correlate with real user engagement or the campaigns running that are deviating from like normal time zones and delivery rates, conversion rate. Again, for a long time, the better conversion rate, the higher the conversion rate, the better, and that was like what everyone was following starting from enterprises. I think now everyone realized sometimes too high CR is too good to be true, and likely indicates manipulation. So just one of the, again, technique used in order to detect the potentially problematic behavior. And basically all these patterns do a lot of other signals tell us when something is wrong, even before our customer does notice. And we are moving close to real time in how fast we can detect the anomalies, and with that, how fast we can notify our customers. And basically, as I said, while we are educating them, they're also getting better as well, as much as they do deploy the similar tactics we are helping to do. But the detection itself is only half of the story, and as I said, education and partnership are the other half. So enterprises are getting more aware of what actually is realistic when it comes to different metrics, from point of the price, from point of the deliverability, from point of the consistency or trends in completion ratio, and basically all of these different signals that if they look too good to be true, if price is like so attractive compared to everyone else, there must be something behind it that could likely bring, and likely will bring, more damage than just the price difference itself. So that's definitely improving on the enterprises side. And when they get better to read all of these indicators, they're also becoming active participants in preventing this type of the fraud. We are moving from firefighting to resilience, to resilient partnership, because we are here to protect them from this. Yeah, I think that's all moving, I think, in a good direction and evolving appropriately. So we'll see how this further evolves. I do believe it's already on a downward slope in the volume of it. There's also a lot of activity happening with preventing the fraudsters to reap the financial benefit. Everyone is much more efficient into stopping the money flow, which in, I think, majority of the cases is primary motivator for fraudsters to orchestrate this fraud.
Yeah, so obviously there's a lot to do there. So let's go beyond AIT. I mean, we know that there are other emerging threats and maybe new faces that are coming in of fraud. So beyond AIT, what are the other popular or fast-growing fraud schemes that are emerging lately in business messaging, and how do they typically operate? Are there any new patterns that the ecosystem should be watching closely?
Yeah, definitely. Again, when one door closes, the other one opens. When it comes to fraud, AIT might still, I think, dominate the scene as a buzzword. I would say, I mean, definitely very dangerous buzzword, but it's far from the only threat in the industry. So fraudsters are, I mean, they're smart people, so it's not orchestrated or organized by stupid people. They're smart, they're very adaptable, and they're moving again from one closed door to open the another, to find a way in, to find a loophole. And that's what we are seeing now, is basically diversification of fraud models. They're branching beyond just this volume manipulation. And they're moving more sophisticated social manipulation, impersonation, and in particular hybrid schemes that mix different messaging channels. Looking from my own example on my own handset, in past 6 months, I did get a lot of fraudulent messages, and I think only one or few actually came via SMS. So all others actually were leveraging different OTT. Something via iMessage as well. So the new channels are opening. I think everyone is eager to drive the population, and they might not have the same scrutiny as they would have when it comes to SMS. So I think it's very important to take care of those channels also with the same level of detail as with SMS. One major trend I noticed is content impersonation, where like some of the verified templates are being slightly adjusted. Legitimate brand sender IDs, especially in markets where there's no sender ID registration policy, like sender ID is pretty open. So brand names are being exploited to send malicious content to lure in the victims, and they use again real brand elements. Message looks almost same alike. The real one, domains also very, very similar, and that makes it like very credible for small percentage or percentage of recipients, but big enough to actually defraud and make the financial benefit of it. So I think it's not about it's moving on again from inflating speaking about AT, it's moving to more sophisticated schemes. Another very, very popular, especially I saw in actually European Union recently, is with crypto exchanges. So a lot of impersonation of Coinbase, Binance, Bitpanda. A lot of these are with all the hype around crypto. People are like also more prone to get hooked on some of these frauds. So definitely something that I saw with increased velocity recently, and always present, still increasing, but just changing the channel, changing the approach, is so-called pig slaughtering type of the fraud. So for those not familiar, the naming of it is strange, but what actually it is, what it represents, it blends social engineering with messaging. So these schemes typically start an SMS or, as I said, on OTT channels, where I personally saw a lot of that on my handset. And the fraudsters basically try to initiate warm, friendly, casual conversations, pretending to like missent message or pretend to be someone who lost access to phones, playing with the basically emotions of people, pretending to be who they're not, fraudsters. And over days or weeks, they're trying to build rapport. They're building rapport and luring victims into making investments into crypto assets, usually not good crypto assets, which at the end up again with people losing a lot of money in these schemes. So it's a very slow and psychological form of the fraud. It's not definitely measured by volume, but again, it does destroy trust in these brands, trust with operator who was supposed to protect me as an end user, even erodes trust in particular messaging application if that was used instead of SMS. So a lot of people again are here being hurt, and it's something that should be taken into account. And another one I would mention is I think everyone is trying to leverage AI for good or for bad. Fraudsters definitely for the latter. And I think there's quite a few activities around large SIM farms which are AI driven and emulating human behavior across thousands of devices to avoid detection, and with the same basically end goal. And I would say with some of these, the fraud is moving from quantity to, if I can say, quality or credibility in some of the form, from exploiting the systems to exploiting people. And there was even news, I think, a few weeks ago that police arrested a good number of people from some of, let's say, small aggregator company, I think in Estonia, which if you look in the volume of the messaging was not that great, but the level of the damage was like really, really, really big. So again, moving from quantity to quality when it comes to fraud, I think where things are going recently. And I think that's the biggest challenge, because technical filters, everything that technology can happen, can block patterns, but some of these more sophisticated social and behavioral type of the frauds do require, I think, more intelligence, context, and cooperation within the ecosystem. Because again, it's not all the new generation of fraud is not about tricking like machines or tricking platforms up. It's about tricking actual human beings.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a lot to deal with. Yeah, you mentioned about, like in summary, the fraud is becoming the fraudster becoming more sophisticated. Obviously, it's not just SMS, but other channels are used. And social engineering plus messaging, are a lethal weapon, lethal by itself, kind of tricking the user. But at the end of the day, as an enterprise or a carrier or a service provider, we talk about building trust, so and the phrase trusted partnership get used a lot in our industry. And if we obviously, if we lose that trust, then we don't really have anything to offer to the consumer. So what does it mean for Mitto in practical terms, and how do you build and maintain that trust with both the operators, MNOs, and the enterprise clients?
So I think rightfully said, the term trusted partnership is used a lot, misused a lot as well. But for us at Mitto, it's something that you can actually measure. It means transparency in routing, visibility into costs, what comes actually behind some of the price point, what are the delivery paths, what are the options to successfully deliver traffic. And also, I think it's all about the honesty when things go wrong, because I mean, technology happens, problems do happen. That I think no one can completely avoid and dismiss. It's all about, once this happens, what are you doing about it? How fast you are addressing it. So what definitely both the enterprises and operators gets from Mitto and it's clarity. It's clarity and accountability. Trust, I would say, also requires consistency. It takes long time to build a trust, and that's just the start of the story. Trust you need to continue earning every day, and it requires as much energy as it does to get it. And it only takes one mistake, which is then not properly managed, to lose it. Just it could be one incident that occurred and that company didn't address in a proper way, and that can slowly or fast erode the trust. So I mean, that's why we take it to utmost importance that we meet the expectations of our customers every day. It's how fast you communicate. It's how clearly you communicate. It's taking the accountability instead of avoiding accountability. And also, I mean, again, how transparent and how you are with whoever, operator or customer, after something has happened. All of these are signals of trust, and how that's level of service we are doing our best to provide, but also what we do expect from our partners, because it is a complex logistical scheme to maintain deliverability at this level to every operator in the world, to every part of the world. So with all of that, and being in the industry so long, being through all of these, let's say, problematic situations with our customers, with our partners, with all of the empirical knowledge, like we already know who are our trusted partners and which partners do require more attention in collaboration.
Right. I mean, I think there's Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I just want to say, like, all of this, what I'm speaking about, at the end of the day, did create a network of these reliable partnerships, and that's what I think can help keep ecosystem healthy. Because at the end, all the technology or everything we are doing cannot replace integrity. Without integrity, I mean, there's no amount of the technology or AI or whatever can restore confidence if lost.
Right, right. Yeah, I think, to your point about, about partnership and collaboration, and obviously, MEF is, we are a neutral, trade association. We have members like yourself that are a part of the, working group and interest group. We have, messaging interest group. We have, our RCS as well as anti-fraud working group that that try to address this, provide a standard, like established code of conduct that members could sign on, and like you said, to build integrity and transparency and clarity and accountability across the ecosystem. I know I think sometimes I feel like it's so obvious, but to try to put that in practice is sometimes the most challenging, because and we need everybody to be a part of the code of conduct, to to be because we have to maintain a good ecosystem to be able to maintain that trusted partnership. So now, obviously, if we don't have that, there'll be an impact on the market. The lack of trust or the loss of trust, which also means erosion of confidence. I mean, in general, fraud doesn't only cost money, it also erodes confidence in messaging as a reliable channel. So the question to you is, how visible is that erosion today? And what are the steps being taken to rebuild trust in business messaging, especially SMS? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious looking at volume trends, especially correlated with destinations typically high in the termination rate. So volume is, I mean, especially again from the hyperscalers is going down, and that's a one-way street. And definitely what led, I think, my personal belief, the biggest contributor of that is this. I mean, what is just said, erosion of the confidence into SMS channel, because the biggest risk of fraud, in my view, is not just direct loss. That's something that's temporary, that can be fixed, but it's this erosion of the confidence for whoever is here on the long run, and we at Mitto are definitely are. This does present a problem because the biggest traffic originators are losing this trust, and they are just being pushed by the ecosystem, not by particular players, but by complete ecosystem. And what has been done to fast track some of the replacements for SMS. So basically, they started questioning whether, I mean, their messages at the end do reach end users. What's the real ROI on the campaigns run, on the use cases run, and the credibility basically of the entire channel does suffer. And I've seen brands reduce spend by half because they no longer trust the metrics they're seeing, not only like alleged things, but they lost trust into like pure numbers, and that has long-term consequences. And again, it doesn't just hit aggregators as someone in the middle of the delivery chain. It impacts at the end MNOs, their revenue streams, because as I said, it's a death spiral, and it's very hard to get back. I witnessed quite a few discussions with MNOs who suffered a huge loss of volume from different brands, and that who are willing to give very, very attractive rates, but again, still not attractive enough. and unfortunately, I don't think the volumes, again, of particular use cases will ever get back to the levels they used to be. So maybe I'm being too pessimistic. It's not all, let's say, that black. But again, it's a call. I mean, call to action. I think everyone is aware, and thankfully, there's a lot of activity aiming at to prevent this erosion and actually to create some fertile ground for growth, which won't come overnight. At Mitto, we did invest a lot. We invested heavily into real-time reporting, into traffic scoring, into employees education, and as I already mentioned, into education of our customers, all with aimed again to maintain where trust is not broken, or to regain the trust where it has eroded into channel, and to make them comfortable again, not to worry every day if something bad is going to happen, but actually to look forward to positive outcomes of using this traditionally very robust channel to interact with the customers. So as said, like, it takes a long time to build the trust. It can be lost very fast, and rebuilding it, I think it does require much more energy than it needed to actually build it in the first place. So as long as the industry moves more towards transparency, moves more towards collaboration between let's say good players, and it enforces accountability at all of the layers of the stack, I think we're gonna get there.
Okay. No, I mean, to your point, I mean, we don't, I mean, this is not a, it's I think part of it is, most of it is probably in our control to act and to deliver and to secure the future of messaging. I think, so I do want to kind of like at least talk about, well, let's look ahead. How do we, how do we build the future of secure messaging together? What are the new forms of, fraud or prevention or emerging technologies do you believe will define the next chapter of secure, high quality business messaging? So what are your thoughts around that?
Yeah. As discussed, I think fraud's gonna continue evolving. So do we need to continue evolving? And the only way how you can reach that scale is by relying again on automation, AI, if that's the best way also to do it. We need to explore every alley, how to get more efficient, not just to rely on human interaction in all of this. And as a collaboration between the industry players. All the countermeasures must evolve accordingly. I think we're gonna see much more near to real-time scoring of the traffic, as mentioned. I mean, the first question every enterprise asks when the topic is being brought up is, can we almost fully proactively tell if message is, let's say, fraudulent or not? For some of the types of the fraud aimed at defrauding end users, that's pretty possible, again, with evolving techniques, with using more machine learning and AI, because the content itself is what differentiates it from the legitimate message. However, when it comes to AT, you cannot do that because message sent is identical as the regular message. More on top of that, even the scoring of the history number is not something that's bulletproof, because my number can be used in the AT attack. So someone can use my number because they know that once they see it coming through their platform, they're gonna drop it. I will never get it. So if in reality that was an AT message with my number, so someone, if that would be possible, could score my number as fraudulent, and I will then stop getting messages when I request them in real life. So I think that's also a big dilemma of enterprises to block or not to block, and where we need to get much closer again to real time. No one will be able, I think, to do it on a single number level, but with all different techniques, patterns, I think we can get closer to narrowing down the let's say exposed samples and be much more reach some, let's say, surgical precision when it comes to blocking this type of the attacks. So the number intelligence and all the different initiatives that go beyond just the communication channel that can be used to improve the KYC, to improve the all different flows where messaging is being used, I think gonna grow in usage. It's gonna link, I mean, verification, routing, and engagement all into some of the, let's say, life cycle visibility of the numbers. So I think that's where things are gonna be heading. In parallel, I think a lot more activity, especially in few months, really, from regulators and industry groups. We saw changes in Ireland few months back. Now it's Netherlands, Finland. So it seems like it's picking up the pace. Definitely a lot of motivation from regulators to clean up the market. And as this does evolve, I think it's going to help clear the scene. But on the flip side, it does introduce a lot more friction. So another thing I think what waits us moving ahead is companies getting better at actually enabling the communication on a different level of the stack. So not just from the connectivity part, but actually to enable that use case, enable that campaign. So for something that used to be limited maybe to a market a few, I think we're gonna go to most of the markets gonna be at such position. So what's gonna help companies stand out from each other is who's gonna be better into guiding and helping their customers enable this interaction, enable this channel to be used in different countries, and also I think orchestrating, adopting all of the channels, not running away from them because they're not gonna go away. So where we need to specialize is how to best custom tailor the ideal setup for a specific use case, for specific need of customers in specific countries. So it's going to get much more granular, I believe, in that sense. I think, again, that's where like automation definitely needs to kick in, because scalability is only come with such approach, not by just throwing bodies at it. So in short words, I think the next phase won't just be about sending messages. It will be about proving authenticity, accountability, and user trust in every interaction that comes through any of the channels used.
Okay. No, I think I know we have still a few minutes, so I'm going to check if we have any question. If not, I have some bonus questions for you actually, and you can decide how best to answer that. Yeah, you mentioned about like Ireland and some I think at the end of it, I mean, I would love to see some example of where we can address, where we can look at the the problems be solved. Where would be some role models out there that that others could follow. I mean, if I were to say that, hey, what we should be looking at, where we should be looking at, where some of these regulatory practice or some form of discussion or forum or collaboration has been successful. So just it's kind of like where do you see where you work with many customers and clients in many countries. Where do you see where we can see some role models to address this?
I think it's too early to put someone as a role model. I think as different markets are introducing different approaches to this, so what, let's say, Singapore did might be like too draconian, and it did discourage a lot of the I think traffic to be sent there. On the other way, some other markets took it too lightly, even though they tried to do something, but then it just didn't work. So I think as one country follows the example, they should, adjust to what worked well, but also take into account what didn't work well. And it's all going to be about fine balance of the friction introduced. Friction should be big enough to discourage to the biggest, to the biggest extent, the fraud. Again, that's only one piece of the puzzle, a regulatory approach. Technology must be the other one. But I think, again, too early to say. Let's see how different countries do approach it. Next year, maybe we're gonna have another panel on the same topic. So then maybe we can discuss in more depth what, let's say, didn't work in Ireland, what created the problems, what worked well in Ireland, so what were the results of it. Most of these things will definitely mainly address end user fraud, as explained, the pig slaughtering, the impersonation, the all of the brand manipulation, not so much AT, but even by clearing up the scene and bringing up the transparency on legitimate players, I think that also helps enterprises to make smart choices and to limit their exposure on the scene for all types of the fraud. So yeah, if that answered your question well, I think we are yet to find a role model, if we ever find it, if someone would be that perfect. But I think it's important for all the regulators, and I think MEF is doing a good job in different countries promoting this and promoting, again, what works well, what not. We're gonna see, again, different flavors and hopefully much better scene for the industry.
Yeah, yeah, and definitely, I think to your point about MEF and what we're doing, we're doing multiple fronts, and obviously these are driven by members, and if you're members, you're obviously aware that you could be a part of our multiple meetings, and both in person and virtual, that we have across the globe, to be a part of this discussion, to learn from each other, and to benefit from the collaboration and partnership. If you're not yet a member, do check us out and see if if MEF would be a platform for you to be a part of. And I think, but before we end, I want to make sure that I know we didn't have a presentation, but Uroš, if anyone wants to reach out to you, you want to share your email, or is it Uroš that?
Uroš at Mitto.ch. So simple. My name at Mitto.ch as a Swiss company. So easily, and everyone can find me on LinkedIn as well.
Okay.
Additionally, I'm happy to share my WhatsApp number, so that can come as a next step.
Yeah, and of course you can reach me at Matt, M-A-T-T, at mef.email, and if you are interested to know how we are working together and promoting bringing our discussion, because I think this is a very important topic. To be honest, I feel that if we don't solve this problem, or at least if we don't mitigate, or at least attempt to reduce some of these AIT and fraud, we would see more erosion of confidence, more erosion, more loss of traffic, so I think there is actually a call to action, to your point, Uroš, that we need to have the industry and our ecosystem be more active in solving this, and using whatever tools we have. So anyway, I know we are almost at the end of the session. Let me see. Oh, we do have some question from, perfect. So from Juan Pham, maybe I will read it out. Who will play main key role in identifying or preventing AIT through campaign data transparency, vendor or enterprise?
So, it's a good question. I think ultimately it will be enterprise, because they sit on the customer data, on the account data, and far more signals that we do see, let's say, as enablers of the communications. So the only thing we are seeing is A number, B number, sender ID, or destination number. We could do limited number of intelligence, limited number of signals around it. It can help, but cannot fully mitigate. Where then enterprise do see all of these accounts, they do see what's created or not. They can get better at finding out what's let's say zombie account, what's emulated behavior versus what's a legitimate account. So collaboration between us and helping them, I think, is the key. And again, they should also be careful with choices, what they're making, who's enabling their communication with the customers. So I think that's gonna be the recipe. And as we do this with the biggest traffic originators, we're gonna cut down a lot of the money flow, because that's where I think most money was made, and especially throughout the past period where it was much lower in magnitude. So the problem arises when people got greedy and started to go above and beyond. And then, even the biggest players who have huge invoices started noticing an impact. So once that money flow is stopped or severely narrowed down, I think it's gonna, become the key point of all these companies basically going out of business, who only relied on this as a business model. Whereas, like as it may be explained, but attacks did went from also big brands to smaller brands, but those guys just simply won't pay the invoice, because if a chain of dentists in a country used SMS and used to pay, I don't know, 500 euro, 1,000 euro a month, and suddenly get hit with 50K or 100K invoice, like they just simply won't pay. There will be a court case, so money won't come to Froster. So I think the key is to stop the 80% which comes from the global biggest players, and then the rest will follow.
Okay. So on that note, I think let me make sure there's no other question. Yeah, I think like I don't think this conversation, this is not meant to be one-time conversation. This is supposed to be a live conversation whereby we will continue to work together. So if you please reach out to Uroš if you want to know. I think he said go LinkedIn. He has a LinkedIn profile, and reach out to him if you want to know about to follow up with Mitto and Uroš on some of these questions that you may have and what Mitto is doing. Yes, you can reach out to me if you want to know what we are doing at MEF to provide a platform for discussion, collaboration, partnership among our members and, of course, our audience and our partners in this space. So with that, I would like to thank again Uroš for the delightful, interesting, relevant, important, crucial discussion. I can't repeat it. I cannot emphasize it enough that this is a very important topic, very crucial topic. And I hope the audience has benefited from this. And with that, I'll wish you all a very good day and a very good week ahead, and speak to you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.